Welcome to Chamber Connection. I'm Mary Hodson, President of the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm so glad that you joined us today. Why am I glad? Because today with me is Miles Seppelt, the EDA Director. What is EDA? It's the Economic Development Authority here in Hutchinson, Minnesota. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here and making the time. Because you know, you're out about making deals happen.
Busy all the time.
Making the things.
I like the way you say that.
Show up.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I really want to start with Jumpstart.
Yes.
The Jumpstart program. So why don't you explain to everyone what Jumpstart is?
Okay. Jumpstart Downtown, I mean, it was kind of formulated in response to the fact that, you know, we had a number of vacancies up and down Main Street, and we wanted to do something about that. So we thought, well, let's do a business plan contest. Let's put some money on the table and some other things that can help a person start a business. We want to turn dreams into realities. And so...
You're a dream maker.
That's, yeah, okay, sure. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that's it in a nutshell. It's really just helping people start businesses so that we can get some of our gaps on Main Street filled up.
Okay, so when you say some money on the table and a few other things.
What means that?
What means that?
Yes. The EDA is the main sponsor of the program. So we said, well, let's put some real money on the table to help someone start a business.
Right.
So we settled on $15,000 of working capital to help people get off the ground and hopefully successfully launch their businesses. And then we had a number of other generous partners. Vivid Image is a partner, Hutchinson Leader is a partner, KDUZ is a partner, Crow River Signs is a partner, Chamber is a partner, Ridgewater College was a partner. We just had great community response when we said, hey, let's line up a bunch of prizes to help people start their business. So that would be advertising, business assistance, chamber membership, coaching, mentoring, all that kind of stuff.
The things that help a business be truly successful. And when you say we're throwing it at them, you don't mean we're throwing it at them. There are, I don't want to say, there's conditions. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. You know, the key thing with anyone starting a business, really the most essential ingredient is knowledge, right, of how to operate a business successfully. It's the education component. That's the secret to success. And so we make it part of the program, and this is where the Small Business Development Center and the Southwest Initiative Foundation and Ridgewater College really help us. We make it a requirement that they get business education. That's what's going to make the thing succeed. And so we condition our funding on that. They have to have a coach, they have to have a mentor, they have to be a good student, and we set it up initially as a loan, but then we'll forgive the loan after a year on the assumption that they'll be a good student. So it's the education.
So if they go through that criteria,
yes,
then that loan is written off. They get a letter that says your loan has been forgiven, and they have $15,000 of working capital to help them have started their business.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Big deal.
It's huge because, I mean, literally, I mean, I hope it's literally everything that they need to get their business idea off the ground, right? We encourage them to write a business plan on the front end, which is a critical ingredient. We put the working capital in, the advertising in, the coaching, mentoring, education, it's all there. Newspaper, radio advertising, chamber membership, critical.
Critical.
Yep. I mean, all the pieces are there that they need. So really, we're looking for people that have a vision, that have a dream, and say, hey, I want to really do this thing.
And for those people who are listening, they're thinking, well, I could start a business. And sure, you could. But part of the deal is that this came in stages, and the business plan is really crucial.
Yes, critical to success.
And we're not talking about a 1 or 2 page business plan. We're talking up to 30 pages.
Right.
What's in that business plan?
Well, the business plan, I mean, really it's just kind of a structure to help them think through all the aspects of the business. How's it going to be managed? How's it going to be financed? How are we going to advertise and market? How are we going to handle the personnel side of it? What's the budget? And then we do some financial projections. It's really kind of modeling the business on paper.
Yeah.
And it's the whole idea is just to help them think through all the different dimensions of owning and operating a business.
Even understanding the market that they're getting into,
Yes.
who their competitors could or would be,
Right.
understanding the need in the community versus, you know, we could say that, you know, we need another widget A,
Right.
but if we already have 5 widget A's being made, do we need another one, right?
Right. Yep.
And so it's understanding that market that they're getting into, any volatility there might be.
Yep.
And usually to do that business plan, that means they're getting some assistance already from the Small Business Development Center and or SWIFT.
Yes. Yep. And those are huge community assets, free. That people can take advantage of, and we always encourage people to get connected with Small Business Development Center.
Yeah.
You know, there's a saying, I mean, you don't know what you don't know. And that's why we have the SBDC in town, because they help people think through all the different dimensions. They're the ones asking, well, what about this and what about that? And,
Right.
oh, I didn't think about that. That's why we're there.
So somebody listening who might be interested in starting a business or know someone who's interested in starting a business, they can know already, even without Jumpstart, that there's
Right.
a lot of resources and they don't actually have to do it alone
Right.
and try to figure it
Yep.
out. And it's not this,
Right.
right? It's
Right.
not a crapshoot. It's not, you know, playing rock, paper, scissors,
Right.
which way should we go?
Right.
You can get specific help to figure out what you need to start a business.
Yes. Yep. And that's
Reality based.
right.
There's a lot of
yeah, and it's totally free.
Yeah.
It's available, you know, 24/7, 365 basically. You go onto the website, you can sign up for SBDC assistance, and someone will reach out to you. So
yeah.
I think what we want to help people understand is that, you know, we did Jumpstart, but people are going to start businesses even outside of Jumpstart, and there's a lot of resources available to help them every step of the way.
Now, when you say we know a lot of businesses will start in light of Jumpstart, even if
Yep.
they weren't part of the competition,
Right.
because we've seen that happen in the past.
Right. Yep. I mean, Jumpstart as a program, we just rolled that out in special circumstances. You know, we did it, I'm going to say back in, what, 2010 or so?
Probably
Plus
more
or minus.
recent than that.
You know, we did it in roughly 2010. We did
Yeah,
it
I had
the
a friend who had
following
a
year.
sabbatical during that time. And
Okay.
so it was probably like 13, 14.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
So I know we rolled it out a couple times, and this is the third time that we've actually utilized the program. And, you know, do we do it next year? I'm a little bit doubtful. Really, it's for special circumstances.
And at the time when we first rolled it out, we had a lot more open spaces
Yeah.
than we are talking about right now.
Yeah.
And if you drive down Main Street in Hutchinson now,
Mm-hmm.
I remember one whole block that it was almost completely brown.
Right.
I mean, there was soap and paper, newspaper
Mm-hmm.
on windows, but then it started getting revitalized when we started this program.
Yes. Yep. And, you know, yes. And we have a bunch of other programs because we're really, you know, as the Economic Development Authority, I mean, we're pretty focused on downtown in general, Main Street in particular. You know, we've all seen other communities where the downtown looks like a ghost town.
Yep.
And we don't want that to happen here. So we're being very intentional about rolling out Jumpstart and other programs just to keep downtown fresh, to keep it vibrant, to keep it active.
Yeah. So we went through Jumpstart, and let's face it, I know almost all the answers because I was part of that process. But I want to hear from you, what happened at the end of the contest?
What happened at the end of the contest? Well, I should go back to the beginning of the contest, because we said when we were formulating it that if there's good ideas out there, if there's more than one good idea, why would we stop at one? You know, if there's 2 good business plans or 3 good business plans, we're trying to fill gaps on Main Street. We have people right in front of us that want to do that. Why not make that happen? And so in this year in particular, you know, we had a total of 4 finalists, and they all made their final pitch, their presentations, answered questions and so forth. And then the committee deliberated, and we just said, you know, there's 3 of them here that are really good, so why not just fund all 3? And somebody said, yeah, let's fund all 3, and that's what we did. So, I mean, this year we have 3 winners, which is fantastic.
So let's talk about the winners.
Yes. So first one was Flank Steakhouse. And this was a project that had started really right when we rolled out the contest. But we met the owners. They had a very good business plan. They had a very good pitch. We wanted to do everything possible to help them be successful. And we just thought, yes, this has a lot of merit to it. Let's get behind this and do everything we can to move it forward. So they were the first winner.
And the community was so excited to see that space on Main Street filled again with another great restaurant.
Right. Yep. I mean, it was a dark day when Zella's closed. And so I think right from the get-go, it was a priority to say, okay, how do we get something, is there a way to bring something back to life in this space? And that was part of our motivation for Jumpstart. We thought about that at the time. So we're just totally thrilled that, okay, here came a couple that wanted to do this, and it coincides with what we were dreaming about. Let's do this thing.
The stars and the moon aligned.
Everything aligned. So I mean,
we like that.
We love that.
Then we had a fun little throwback surprise.
Yes, the gold coin.
Yes.
Coming back to life. A new iteration of the gold coin. So, you know, and this was just a great example of why we do Jumpstart, because it gets people to say, I'm going to really do this. And maybe otherwise they may not have.
Right.
And so we had a couple that said, well, we had a couple, and one of them was an award-winning restaurant in Michigan for Thai food. They won a statewide award in Michigan like 4 or 5 years in a row for Thai food. And she heard about Jumpstart and, you know, entered the contest and had a great business plan and a good vision and a good presentation, and we said, let's fund them. So we gave them a full first prize. And so, so we're super excited that the gold coin is coming back. We're going to have authentic Thai food on Main Street again.
So many people have been calling the chamber office and asking, when is the Thai restaurant open?
Yes.
When is it? When is it? When is it? Because people are so excited about having another cultural food option.
Right. A little bit more diversity.
Yep.
Some authentic ethnic food in Hutchinson.
Award-winning.
Amen.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, let's go for it. So I'm not totally sure when they're going to open. This one's a project that's going to take a little bit more time to mature because they need to do renovations on the building.
Yep.
It's going to be at the same exact location as the existing gold coin, be a new gold coin.
Yep.
The building needs some work before it's ready. So I mean, just as a guess, maybe 6 months out or so, early 2022 perhaps.
I'm telling people after the first of the year.
Yeah, I think
because
that's safe.
one of the things that if you're not aware and you're listening to this is that construction and contractors are in high demand.
Right.
And low, there's low inventory on both.
Yes.
So it takes a little bit longer, it takes a little bit more money, and this project was then, our Jumpstart project helped them with additional expenses because of building costs.
Right. Yep. Yes. Yep. And then, you know, we're going to give them a little bit more latitude in terms of getting this thing open just for all those reasons.
Yep.
I mean, contractors are scarce and material prices are high and everybody's busy.
Yep.
So we'll you know, hopefully early 2022 is what we'll say for that one.
Super fun because it's kind of staying in the family. So if people are from Hutchinson, that they're going to be asking that question. But then also, the other big question that I get when people call and ask, and I'm not kidding, Mai Tais are coming back.
Yes.
So
that's
important.
That was emphasized.
Yes. Maybe not karaoke, but Mai Tais will be.
As long as we get the Mai Tais.
Right?
Right.
Okay, and then we had such a great presentation, and again, somebody who knew what they were doing, but there was a third prize.
Then there's the third winner, and we had to... It took us a little while, I think, to settle on this one. But again, it was an opportunity that we thought was too good to pass up. And so there was a young gal who made a presentation for a business called Sweet Rolls and Boba. And I have to always clarify, it's not sweet rolls like what we think of in...
Not a pastry.
It's not a pastry. It's not what we think of here in central Midwest Minnesota, Scandinavian heritage sweet roll.
Yeah.
It's sweet rolls of ice cream, because what she does is she's got a cold plate that she makes the ice cream, and then she'll pour the stuff on the plate. It'll freeze right there, and then she uses a spatula to scrape it off, and then so it's homemade ice cream basically every time you order it.
Yes.
So it's going to take a little bit, 5 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever it is.
Part of it's the entertainment portion of this.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's going to be homemade. It's going to be the flavor that you want.
Yeah.
So it's sweet rolls of ice cream, and then boba tea, which I've never had before in my life, but that was really good.
Yep.
I sampled it. I thought it was fantastic. And so sweet rolls and boba, we said, yes, let's do this one too. And so that one is coming to Main Street.
Yes. And very fun. It will be in the same location, but a separate restaurant, a separate owner.
Yes, I believe that it's two businesses under one roof, and it turns out that the gal that's doing Gold Coin and the gal that's doing sweet rolls and boba, they're both from Michigan. They knew each other in Michigan. They actually worked together in Michigan, came to Minnesota at the same time, and then linked up through Jumpstart.
Yep.
And they said, let's do it again. And so we're going to have sweet rolls and boba inside the Gold Coin, I believe.
Yep.
I believe that's it. Not totally 100% gospel there, but I think that's the plan.
Yeah, that's the plan.
And you know, and so the one will be in charge of the dessert menu and the drinks and so forth, and the other one will be doing the award-winning Thai food.
Now, if you're listening and you're super excited and you're like, I want to try this sweet roll ice cream, guess what?
What?
They're going to be at the Taste of Hutchinson during Arts and Crafts Festival.
Well, there you go, a sneak preview.
Yes. Super excited about that, because it's really fun to watch the process happening as well as then enjoying the end result.
Yes.
Excited
I think
about
people
that.
are going to be, there's plenty of wow factor.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we're talking about people who already have run these businesses. So we know that they will be successful. They know what to do to be successful, but they're moving here to do it.
Right.
Which is very exciting.
Yes. Yep. Yep. And I think that's Jumpstart. I mean, that helped entice them to be in Hutchinson, because we're providing an environment where they get a lot of support.
Yep.
And who wouldn't want that?
Now, we know that there were people who applied, but maybe they might have stepped back because they realized they weren't far enough along, or there was lots of different iterations, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to still come to fruition, because they're still talking about what their ideas are or looking for an appropriate space.
Yes. Yep. And we encourage them. I mean, we give them a little feedback, and you know, a number of good ideas came forward. They just need a little bit more refinement to kind of get to a point where they're ready to launch. So we do encourage them to get connected with the Small Business Development Center, work with the Small Business Development, keep working on that business plan to get it to where it needs to be.
Tweak it where it needs to,
right.
So you have a really good understanding.
Yep.
Because you do have to know what your costs are going to be. You do need to know where your expenses and your payroll is going to be. You need to have a good understanding of who that competition is and what you're bringing to the table.
Yes, exactly.
And your heart has to be there.
Right.
Like if it's a passion.
And commitment, right? I mean, you got to be in 110%.
Yeah. Very exciting, because we know that we filled a lot of spaces on Main Street after the last Jumpstart. And I can like literally go that one, that one, that one, that one from that opportunity. One of the things that I also think that people don't realize, and one of the things that you didn't mention, was the sign and awning grant, because that's something that the winners can take advantage of. But any business that's in the downtown corridor can take advantage of that.
Yes. Yep. And so we have a program, and it's for any business in the downtown, up to $2,000 as a grant to put up a sign or have an awning, or a combination thereof. So that's one program. And then we have another program. It's a matching grant if they want to improve the front of their building. That's up to $7,500 as a dollar-for-dollar match. That one's also available. And then we do have a low-interest loan program as well. So, I mean, the EDA is constantly making investments in and around the downtown.
So if someone is listening and they, like I said before, they themselves or they know somebody, maybe it's the neighbor across the fence, right? Or maybe it's their grandson or their granddaughter or somebody in the family or a friend. What would you tell them if they're like, oh, we know that we've got this really good idea. We just don't know what our next 3 steps are. What would you tell them?
The single most important step, and I think the starting point for everyone, is get connected to the SBDC. That's really the gateway for everything. Because they're going to help you refine the idea.
And they'll tell you what the next steps are after that.
And they'll give you honest feedback. I mean, this is a group of experts that have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge with small business, and it's free. And so I always say, get connected with them and get every bit of information out of them that you can, because that's the secret to success.
And because they're coming in without a bias.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. They don't have a stake. I mean, their stake really is just they want you to succeed. And they don't want you to fail. So they're going to be honest if they think that you don't have quite what you need yet. Right.
Or if you're good to go. If you get the thumbs up.
That means something.
That means something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the other programs and other work that you do that people might not understand why is the EDA doing this or what's happening.
Yes.
Like if we're looking to rezone something, or the great one is, well, the city sold it to them for $1, the property for $1. Let's talk about some of those types of situations.
Okay, and that's a great one, because that one comes up kind of frequently. And like, what are you guys doing there?
Yeah.
Well, like I said earlier, I mean, the EDA is one of our really key focus areas is Main Street and downtown, because that's the core of the community. That's what everybody sees when they think of Hutchinson, and we want it to be nice. And I will just jump in and say, having a vital, vibrant downtown means that you have a vibrant and vital community. Right, exactly right.
We know through lots of studies, if the downtown looks dead, the town is probably dead.
Right,
and so we work really hard to make it successful all the way across.
That's exactly right. It's like the core of the apple. You don't want a rotten core to your apple, right? I mean, you want it to be nice.
Analogy, I like it.
Yes. So rule number 1 with downtown development is to get rid of blight, right? If there's old, dilapidated, falling down buildings, get rid of that stuff. And so the EDA has been very active in that area. There are times when, for whatever reason, a building may fall into disrepair, and the owners may not be in a position to remedy the situation and may be looking to get rid of the property, but it's not a desirable property. Who's going to come along and buy a piece of junk? And so that's an area where the EDA has been involved in the past, where we may acquire a building for really the only purpose just to get rid of it, and clean up the area and set the stage for redevelopment. And we have different financial tools that we use to do that. And then, long story short, we set things up in such a way that we can provide a good incentive for developers to come in and say, hey, we're going to take on this site and make something really nice out of it.
So you're taking the blight, wiping it off,
yes,
and putting in something new.
Nice and neat, yes.
Okay.
And so one exhibit would be the Cobblestonian Hotel.
Yes.
That was a project that, I mean, I think sometimes folks have the idea that these things just happen by themselves, that it's some sort of magic.
Oh, I thought you just wiggled your nose.
Right, like on, yes.
Yep.
Not quite. But,
no, okay.
There's a lot of people working behind the scenes doing a lot of hard work to get that to all come together. And that one was a project that took years to come to fruition. But now we have a really nice hotel. That's an asset to the whole community, and in particular to the downtown. Other examples would be Cornerstone Commons, State Theater, and there's others in the hopper. There's others in the pipeline that are coming.
And if you don't know, you can watch the city council meetings
right
here on HCVN and learn.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So right before we wrap up, let's talk a little bit about the Enterprise Center.
Yes.
The incubator.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Well, that's very similar to Jumpstart, actually. I mean, the idea is to take businesses at a very early stage, help them out in terms of financing a little bit. We put them in a low-cost environment. But then the bigger thing, the more important thing, is that we pour in a lot of education. And then, so I mean, the theory is that we're going to bring small businesses in, we're going to grow them up a little bit, we're going to push them out, and then we'll start over.
Awesome. And you have a number of businesses that have used that building already.
Yes. Yep.
And you house also the SBDC.
Right.
And now the
Veterans Business Outreach Center is
good.
coming to Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
The VBOC.
Yes. So I mean, it's very similar to a small business development center. It's funded through the Federal Small Business Administration, and it's essentially an SBDC that's geared more specifically toward military veterans. And we're going to have the only VBOC office, Veterans Business Outreach Center, the VBOC. We're going to have the only VBOC office in Minnesota here in Hutchinson.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We're excited about that.
We're really excited about that.
Yes.
Because there's so many opportunities. We have so many veterans in our community, and we definitely have a base of pride with that. I mean, you don't get 3 vehicles in your veterans park if you're not.
Right. I mean,
really
we have a very strong veterans community, and we have a community that supports their veterans. And so this is the perfect location for the VBOC. We're super excited to have this in our community. This is just one more step, one more thing that we do to support our veteran community.
Awesome. So if you want more information, you can get a hold of Miles. You can look up on hutchinsoneda.com.
Correct.
And certainly also at explorehutchinson.com, we can get you all the information that you're interested in. If you're watching this in July, the 15th, 16th, and 17th of July are crazy days. Come on out and support our local businesses. They will have a lot of deals and steals for you. And Miles, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I hope that you join us again next month.